For the first time ever, I tried out a skill that I never used before. That's the poison concation, and I done it in solo self-found environment to simulate the upcoming new league start. It was surprising how smooth was the whole campaign and melted every single Oct boss. In this video, I will go over the build and the planned Tonki endgame version. What's up guys? Pidget here. So this is my character from the solo self-found run, and I finished, as you can see, I just level 68. This is the items, so as you can see, it's fully solo self-found. I did not also use the whole shipment thing from the Settlers of Kalguur League mechanic, guys, so this is just basically what it dropped through the campaign, and I can say I was a little bit unlucky at the start. So you can see here there is nothing really insane. Maybe my body armor is a little bit insane because I dropped a 5 link and I threw a few, alchemy up to it, and I hit 140 life, tons of resistance, and as you can see, the other stuff is not really worth to mention at all. Little accuracy rating, because by the way, you have to cap your accuracy rating with this build because the poison concation is an attack, so we are using obviously the accuracy rating rolls where you can. Also early on and later we were using precision as well, so we were getting accuracy rating because we don't care about the critical chance on this build. The most important part is you need to upgrade every single time your flasks, so you need to every time there is a new flask available, use it, or use vendor recipe, you selling 3 of the same flask and you will get a tier higher flask. And I was done it every time, and I suggest to you guys use 2 life flask at least, because poison concation is using your life flask charges, and every single projectile increase will increase how much is taking up. Currently we have 10 projectiles, so every time we throw a poison concation, it will remove 10 charges from our life flask. We can deplete our life flask pretty quickly, and it will make very bad situations, especially early on. Because of this, we will take a few flasks node on the tree that is giving us life flask generation, replenishing remedies to charge every 3 seconds to your life flask, and also you taking the flask mastery life gain 1 charge every 3 seconds, so you generating charges very early on. And also obviously later on you will have Pathfinder generation as well, but you will not using this one, but a little bit about this later. So about the tree a little bit. So obviously this is just I just threw these 3 together while I was doing campaign and so on. So early on I was taking up these ones, so like taking up this one, projectile damage and so on, ballistic, because I was using caustic arrow for the early levels, and because poison concation it's level 12 skill, so you need to reach that point. Also you can use anything else that you really want, but I was using it because I like the caustic arrow, so I was playing like this, so like this, and was starting pathing down here to the finesse, because this is attack speed and accuracy rating, as again we care about attack speed and accuracy rating as well. And I was rushing towards immediately to the poison chance nodes and the swift venoms, and also at this point take up the poison you inflict on non-poison enemies deal 300% increased damage, because that's a pretty good node for clear and just for the acts, because you just shield charging around, throw your flask, shield charge away, and in the meantime your very big poison will start ticking on the monsters, so you getting a little bit faster. And also I was taking up the accuracy nodes and this accuracy mastery, 500 accuracy rating and -2 accuracy rating per level, so this will take care your accuracy rating till maps, and after that as well. So in the endgame version we were using this wheel as well. And honestly, after that, obviously I take up a little mana mastery and also Thrill of the Battle to lower down your mana cost, because early on you will have a little mana issues as well, but because we're using the primal spirit giving us strength and intelligence, and also giving us mana on hit if you using a mana flask, so you basically using 1 time your mana flask and you will getting mana per hit, because we have like 4 projectile early levels, so you will getting back 20 mana per attack. So you can clearly see here you sustaining without anything it, and also this is helping you with the strength and intelligence requirement, because early on you will not take any of this, so this is the closest one that you can take. And also, early on, I would suggest to take Mana Leech, because we can leech Mana Leech, attack damage leeches mana, so you can clearly see we will leeching around 40 mana, so we can sustain easily or stuff. Later on, by the way, you removing all of this stuff, so as you can, as soon like you getting the poison concation and you have refound points, so you just removing this and spending your points elsewhere. So, for example, you know, I was taking up a little movement speed and suppression here, because this is making you faster, obviously, but the most important part is taking the poison chance notes here and here. This is the most important one, because alone you will not have 100% poison chance. Early on you can use the chance to poison skill gem, but after you getting 100% you can just drop the poison chance super gem for a better one. And now we will take a closer look on the ascendancy. So obviously we're choosing Pathfinder. For the first labyrinth, the Nature's Reprisal, this is gives you Wither on hit and increase Wither. This is a very huge damage increase, as you can see, almost 60% of our damage coming from this one. So this getting early on pretty huge, especially if you want to melt down act bosses. And the next one is Master Toxicities, because you will have always at least one flask off give, like Quicksilver or the Onslaught flask or something, some flask, and you will inflict 20% chance to deal 100% more poison damage. That's pretty good. And also this is the poison prolife as well. And I was taking up the Nature's Adrenaline at the Merciless Lab, so the third labyrinth. So that was my journey with this character. A quick rundown on the skills. So I was using Poison Concation, Greater Volley. Early on you can only use the Volley because of the level requirements, and also the lesser multiple projectiles, and you will switch to the greater multiple projectiles, because this build is pretty strong if you have multiple projectiles like 10 or even more, because it can overlap. So this damage is can be up like almost 300k. So I think we can deal like 300k DPS already at this point of the game, and you can clearly see it's not even leveled and so on, and just a 5 link. So yeah, so Greater Volley, Void Manipulation, Unbound Ailments, and Greater Multiple Projectiles if you getting lucky with the 5 links. And we're using Herald of Agony, Precision, and Grace. But honestly, I was not using Grace at the start, because I was using Purity of Elements, because my resistance was very bad after I killed the first Kitawa at Act 5. So I was using Purity of Elements for a little bit, because my resistance was requiring. And we using for, as I said earlier, shield charge and faster attacks, and also we using one single curse, and that's the Despair. So the endgame version. So guys, this is the absolute endgame version. So I was working on this one a little bit. What we dealing here? So we are dealing around almost 15 million DPS on the bosses, and we also, as always, Tonky. Yes, guys, we will be Tonky. We will have tons of HP, tons of recovery. We will hitting 90% physical damage reduction, and we will have almost 20k armor as well, and we will have fire resistance and lightning resistance at 90%. And we will getting cold resistance. Okay, the cold resistance is 77%, and also the chaos res as well. So how are we reaching that? So on the shields, you can roll plus 2% to all maximum resistance. Helmet, it's just standard suppression, life, chaos res helmet, and obviously reduced mana cost of attacks and 7% of physical damage hits taken as lightning or fire damage. It doesn't matter which one you're getting, you will using that one. And we were using the good old lightning coil, and I'm planning to get a double corrupted version with maximum life and reduced lightning damage taken. But I would say you don't need any of this. So obviously I just want to, you know, reach the maximum potential, the build that I can. So this will be my main goal with this build, reach this exactly this POB in the game as well. So, but otherwise, you can grab Lightning Coil early on. This will help you mitigate tons of physical damage. You will not die to the physical damage because of the 50% physical damage taken from hits taken as lightning damage. And to counter the minus lightning resistance on this bad boy, we will using, what is it? The Purity of Lightning, as you can see. So Purity of Lightning capping us pretty hard and also giving us maximum lightning resistance. So it's very straightforward, and we were getting an Asynat Gentle Touch gloves with curse enemies with Enfeeble on hit, and obviously we were getting Temporal Chain on hit. So why is that? So this will make the build so much more comfortable. So you will have Enfeeble, which is reducing the damage the enemy deal to us, and also Temporal Chain, increasing, you know, your poison duration. This will be also quality of life as well, because you will have all of your curses almost up on every enemies that you hit even one time. It will eliminate the usage of the Arcanist brand, because, you know, Arcanist brand can eat up your mana pretty fast, especially when you're using a Silver Flask, because it will give you cost speed, so it will trigger every curse pretty fast, so you will maybe run out of mana, and it will be very annoying to just wait for your mana regen a little bit, right? Why not using Despair on hit? Curse implicit. Well, so if you're not knowing, Enfeeble is scaling with levels, but not that much that it will be noticeable. So it's we don't care about this. And also the Temporal Chain not even scaling with the levels at all. Nothing scales with it. So it's not matters. And also, if you take a look quickly on the damage, so every single curse on hit is level 1 curse. So you will getting this damage. Give me 1 second, like this. You can clearly see you lost 3 million DPS because you're using Despair on hit gloves. So this is why we will not using it, because Despair scales well with the levels, and also the quality is giving you curse effectiveness for the Despair. A pretty big deal to get exactly these gloves, and also it's helping you get intelligence to the build, because the build is struggling to get intelligence, because you need 155 intelligence for the build for your gems and so on. So this will help us. And also, you know, the other stuff is just avoid elements, boots, action speed, and also maximum life. So this is pretty standard. It's so easy to craft. The amulet, I know maybe it's intimidating for the first look, but it's so easy. You basically getting a damage over time multiplier fracture or chaos fracture, and just reforge chaos or reforge life, and you will do this till you hit something that you satisfied. And you need an open suffix as well for the minimum endurance charges, because this build will have, yes, 3 minimum endurance charges, so we will getting the juicy 12% less elemental damage taken and physical damage taken with this stack. So we were just using Thread of Hope with very large, and we will take the Disciple of Unyielding and Disciple of Slaughter. So we will getting minimum endurance charge. This will give you tonkiness, and you will get 1 minimum frenzy charges, and also you can generate frenzy charges while mapping. We were using, obviously guys, we're using free curse. So how we will fit in free curse? Anathema, easy. Tides of Time, absolutely broken on Pathfinder. You will getting tons of recovery, life and utility flask charge gain, and also increased flask effect. So this is very helpful for us, especially with the, you know, the Divine Life Flask generation. You can clearly see we generating almost 6 charge per second. And now, so let's go to the tree. Okay, so I was talking about the Thread of Hope tech, yeah? The first you noticing, by the way, we don't have evasion, right? So why is that? Why the hell you not using evasion? So for the reason is Iron Reflexes. We using this for convert all evasion rating to armor. So this, you can clearly see, gives us 50k armor, which is very strong, and it will help us Agnist Uber bosses, because as I said, this is an Uber endgame oriented build. But for mapping, you can just remove it and you will have a good time even with that much armor and evasion as well. But for Ubercirrus and Shaper, you need to take this one because, you know, if your goal to tank Ubercirrus Meteor and Uber Shaper Slam, you need armor. And this is solving your armor problems very, very easily. You can clearly see how much armor and Fizmax hit we getting from this one. So this is very important. And the other thing, so you see double circle here. So we're using a Timeless Javel, Brutal Restraint, and we were using poison damage here, maximum life here, and poison damage here. This is giving us pretty decent damage, right? So like 700k. It's not the big deal, but it's so, you know, good as well. And also, don't forget, we have tattoos, right? So we will see how our hit chance will be getting capped. And we're using, obviously, guys, Light of the Meaning Javel with so increased chaos damage in the radius. So this will gives you very, very big damage. And because, guys, this is not an energy shield version, nobody will really care about this because you know, everybody will hunting down the energy shield version instead of this, so we will maybe have a good time just purchasing this one. And also, let me tell you something about the poison concation of bouncing. So if you're increasing the projectiles, right, then it will not fire out more projectiles. It will instead bounce more times on the ground. So giving there more projectiles, it will make it bouncing more times. And also, this is why we're taking this projectile mastery. Projectiles deals 20% increased damage with hits and ailments for each time they have chained. So it can chain like 10 times. So it will increase our damage pretty significantly, as you can see currently 50%, and this is just 7 times chains, okay? And also, we boosting this damage even further. 15% increased damage with hits and EMS for each remaining chain. So this is like, our damage will looks like this. So this is the first time you hitting the enemy. It will deal 1.5, 1.4, 1.4 steel, 1.3, and so on and so on. So I would say, guys, the damage you see here, it's not 100% accurate. So I think this will be much higher because of this condition. It's hard to, you know, calculate really. And also, so we're using 1, 2, 3, 4 of these Javel this little way, as you can see. So we're just using one single notable here. So I need to credit Jangron about this because I was seeing he was using it. I think it was his poison concation of bouncing slayer. I think he was using in it. So I was just saying, you know what, that's a good tech, so why not put here? And obviously double cluster setup, as you can see here. Now the Javels, the small Javels, so obviously we will get a corrupted blood immunity with increased life, and also we were getting an ancestral vision, and we were getting this bad boy, increased maximum life, chaos damage over time multiplier, and +2 maximum fire resistance. And a few words about, you know, the ascendance. It's not really mind-blowing. So Master Toxis is Nature Reprisal, Nature Adrenaline, and Master Surgeon for the big life recovery. I hope you enjoyed this video about my secret league starter. If you have any question, please leave a comment below, or you can find me on twitch.tv/Pidget2. Also, I would like to say thank you for my Patreons for supporting me. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching. I was Pidget. See you next time.